I thought I knew Linda. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 3, and honestly, I believed we were solid. The kind of couple people looked at and thought, yeah, they've got it figured out. But sometimes, the people you trust the most, they're the ones who can break your world with just one truth. This is the story of how I found out my wife Linda was living a double life, and how Google Maps timeline turned my whole world upside down. I'm Tatum. I'm 28. Linda's 26. We met back in college. She was studying nursing, and I was already knee-deep in coding projects and internships. We clicked fast. It wasn't just chemistry. It felt like teamwork, like a real partnership. These days, I work in tech, mostly remote. Linda works as a nurse. Her hours are brutal sometimes, especially during flu season or when the hospital's understaffed. But we build a good life. Nothing fancy, just a cozy 2-bedroom apartment, a rescue dog named Milo. He thinks he's a lap dog, even though he weighs over 70 pounds. And that easy rhythm you fall into when life feels right. We were even talking about starting a family. Kids. Maybe a house in the suburbs. A backyard. I had already started browsing listings. It felt like we were planning our future together. Looking back now, I feel like a fool. Completely blind. It all started about 2 months ago. Linda brought up this girl's trip. We're finally doing it, she said one night over dinner. The Miami trip. Remember the college reunion thing I told you about? I looked up from my plate. Yeah, you've mentioned it a couple of times. South Beach, margaritas, the works. She laughed. Exactly. Just 4 days. Thursday to Sunday. Me, the brunette. Ruby, remember her? Then Kathy, the blonde. And this new girl Kathy works with, just moved here. I think her name's Taylor. That sounds awesome, I said. You need it. You've been running yourself into the ground lately. She let out this deep breath, like just thinking about Miami was already giving her life again. Seriously, I feel like I haven't had a second to breathe. I just want some sun, some drinks, and no alarms going off at 5 a.m. I smiled. You deserve that, and more. And I meant it. I've never been the jealous or controlling type. We've always respected each other's space. I encouraged her to keep in touch with her friends. So yeah, I was all for it. I even helped her pack the night before. We were throwing outfits onto the bed and she kept asking, is this too much for Miami? Holding up sundresses one after another. Too much? You'll be underdressed compared to everyone else. I teased. Miami is basically a fashion show with heat stroke. She laughed, tossed a bikini at me. Okay, Mr. Fashion Advice. The next morning, I drove her to the airport. She was practically bouncing in the passenger seat, sunglasses on, sipping the coffee I brought her. This is going to be so good, she said, scrolling through a group chat on her phone. Kathy already made a reservation for us at some rooftop place, Luna Lounge, I think, for Friday night. Fancy, I said. Don't forget to take pictures. Oh, you know I will. We kissed goodbye at the drop-off lane. Nothing unusual. She smiled, waved, walked into the terminal, and I drove off thinking how nice it was that she'd get a break, that we'd miss each other, and things would feel fresh again when she got back. At first, everything seemed completely normal. She texted me when she landed. Just touched down. Miami is hot. Me. You're not allowed to complain about heat. You chose this. Fair. Hotel looks amazing. BTW. Sending pics soon. An hour later, I got a few photos. The hotel lobby with this massive glass chandelier, the pool area with palm trees lining the edge. Then a selfie, her and the girls on the balcony, cocktails in hand, smiling. The view from their room was stunning. Ocean stretching to the horizon. Blue skies. Palm trees swaying. Like a postcard. All normal stuff. But then Friday night came, and the messages stopped. Now, I'm not needy. I don't blow up her phone when she's out. I don't expect updates every hour. That's never been our thing. But Linda has this habit, especially when she travels, of always texting me goodnight. Even if it's just, love you. Night, babe. That's just her. Friday night. Nothing. At first, I figured maybe they were busy. I mean, Miami nightlife, right? Dinner, maybe a club, who knows? Still, I waited. Checked my phone before bed. No message. I told myself, she's just having fun. Don't overthink it. But then Saturday morning came. Still nothing. No good morning. No mimosa pic. Just radio silence. No good morning text. No, look at this mimosa photo. Nothing. And it stayed that way until around 2 p.m. Finally, my phone buzzed. Hey babe, having so much fun, talk later. That was it. No pictures. No details. No little stories like, you won't believe this drag brunch, or Kathy looks like a lobster. She got so sunburned. Just vague. Surface level. And for Linda? That was weird. She usually shares everything. She's the kind of person who'll send me 3 different angles of the same sunset. She once FaceTimed me just to show how perfect her breakfast looked. So this didn't feel like her. Still, I tried to shake it off. She's on vacation. Let her enjoy it. Don't be that guy who makes a big deal out of nothing. But then Saturday night came, and it happened again. No texts. No updates. I waited until about 10 p.m. Miami time and thought, what the hell? I'll give her a quick call. Just to check in. Hear her voice. It rang once. Straight to voicemail. I just stared at the screen. Okay. Maybe they were in a loud club. Maybe her phone died. I tried to believe that. I really did. But my gut was starting to itch. This just wasn't like her. Still, I went to bed, telling myself everything was fine. Told myself not to be paranoid. But that gut feeling? It wouldn't go away. So Sunday morning, I opened Google Maps timeline. She'd left her location sharing on by accident. And what I saw made my stomach drop. It showed her at some residential address. Definitely not the hotel. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, palms sweating. I clicked on the location. It was an apartment complex, about 25 minutes from South Beach. Not a hotel. Not a tourist spot. Just someone's home. What the hell is she doing there? I kept scrolling through the timeline. Saturday? Same thing. Most of the day, she was at that same address. There was a short blip showing her back at the hotel, maybe just dropping by, but then, right back to the apartment complex. It showed everything. Her routes, what time she arrived, when she left, even how long she stayed. It was like watching her move across a chessboard, minute by minute. I felt sick. I opened Instagram. Maybe the girls had posted something. Something to explain it. Or at least show her with them, like she said she was. I started with Ruby's stories. She's always posting, always tagging everyone. There were clips from the pool, selfies before dinner, boomerangs of clinking drinks. Normal girls trip stuff. But something felt off. It was always just 3 of them. Ruby, Kathy, and the new girl. No sign of Linda. Then I saw it. One of Ruby's captions. Missing our 4th tonight, face with tears of joy. Another one the next night. She's doing her own thing. Doing her own thing? With who? I screenshotted everything before the stories disappeared. Then I pulled up Kathy's profile. Same thing. 3 girls. Always the same trio in every photo and video. One post from Saturday said, when your friend abandons you for other plans. My stomach turned. Abandon them? For what? That's when the spiral started. I even went to the new girl's profile, Taylor. I barely knew her. She had just moved to our city a few months ago. But now, somehow, she was part of this group. I tapped through her stories. Mostly the same shots, rooftop views, cocktails, group pics. Then I saw a short video. A few seconds long. Shaky and dark. It looked like a rooftop bar. The 3 girls were sitting together, laughing, posing. But in the background, at another table, I swear I saw Linda. My breath caught. It looked just like her. Same hair. Same profile. Even the way she was leaning in, close, to someone across the table. A guy. I watched that video maybe 50 times. Zoomed in. Turned the brightness all the way up. It was hard to tell. But that laugh, barely audible under the music. It sounded like hers. I sat there for what felt like forever. Then, Sunday night, around 11 p.m., Linda came home. I heard the door open and forced myself to act normal. She walked in, suitcase rolling behind her, big smile on her face. Hey baby, I missed you so much. She dropped her bag and came over, wrapped her arms around me like nothing was wrong. I hugged her back, stiffly, trying to quiet my heartbeat. Hey, how was the trip? She lit up, went straight into story mode. Said the hotel was beautiful. The food was incredible. The weather, perfect. She told me they went to a beach club on Saturday. Said Kathy got too drunk, and they had to carry her back to the hotel. She even talked about some fancy restaurant they ate at Friday night. I just nodded, pretended to listen, because the whole time, all I could think was, none of that lines up. Google said she was at that residential address both nights. Not at a beach club, not at that restaurant. And now, I was stuck in my head, wondering, am I overreacting? Am I missing something obvious? Maybe there's a simple explanation for everything. Monday morning, after Linda left for work, I just sat there on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. I hadn't slept much. My head was a mess, half in denial, half already convinced. And then something in me just snapped. I needed to know the truth. So I picked up my phone and called Ruby. She and I go way back. She was in our wedding party. We've shared drinks, awkward double dates. She knows me. If anyone would be honest with me, it would be her. The phone rang twice before she answered. Hey Tatum, what's up? Hey, not much. Just wanted to say thanks for looking out for Linda on the trip. She said she had a great time. Oh yeah? Yeah, it was a great trip. So nice to get away for a bit. She sounded casual. Easy. Cool. Yeah. She mentioned the beach club and some dinners. But she was kind of vague about Friday and Saturday nights. There was a pause. Not long, but heavy. Oh, we just did the usual stuff. You know how girls' trips are. I could hear it in her voice. That shift. That edge. Yeah. I saw some of your Instagram stories. Looked fun, though I noticed it was just you three in most of them. Another pause. Longer this time. Listen, she finally said, her voice softer now. I think you should talk to your wife about this. My heart dropped. Talk to her about what? I can't. It's not my place. But you're a good guy, Tatum. You really are. You deserve better than this. Then she hung up. Just like that. I stared at my phone, still lit up with the call log, trying to process what just happened. She didn't say it. But she didn't have to. She knew something. And it was bad enough that she couldn't even lie about it. That was it. I couldn't sit still anymore. I called in sick to work. Took the whole day off. I had to know. I opened up Google Maps again. That same address. That same damn apartment complex. I clicked into the timeline details. Friday night. Arrived around 9 p.m., didn't leave until Saturday afternoon, around 2. Then back to the hotel. Saturday evening. She went right back to that same address. This wasn't some random stop. I copied the address and pasted it into Google. Luxury apartment complex. Gated. Modern. 20 minutes from the beach. Definitely not a hotel. Definitely not somewhere tourists go. I went deeper. I started reverse searching the address, looking through posts tagged there on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, anything. After about an hour, down a rabbit hole, I found it. An Instagram post. A guy. Selfies taken from his apartment balcony, tagged with that same complex. One post on Friday night. Another on Saturday. The view matched exactly what I saw in Google Maps. Same layout, same skyline, same lights. Same place. Same time Linda was supposed to be with her friends. I clicked on his profile. His name was Zayden. 32. Lives in Miami. Works in real estate. Fit. Confident. Palm tree emojis in his captions. And then, boom. Linda. She was tagged in several of his posts. Over the last few months. Nothing super intimate. No kissing, no captions like date night. But close. Smiling selfies. Casual moments. A boomerang of them clinking glasses. One picture where she wore a sundress I'd never seen before. And they weren't from Miami. They were local. Taken on nights she said she was working late or out with girlfriends. There was a photo from 3 weeks ago. Linda and Zayden sitting close at some upscale restaurant. Dim lighting. A bottle of wine between them. She's laughing, leaning in like they've known each other for years. The caption read, "Finally convinced this beautiful woman to leave her man for a real dinner." I stared at that line until the screen blurred. My stomach twisted, and I barely made it to the car before I threw up in the driveway. Then I just sat there, in the front seat, parked on the side of the road like a ghost. But I wasn't done. I couldn't be. Now that I had a name and a face, the rest came together quickly. Too quickly. I logged into our shared phone account. We're on the same plan, so I have access to the call logs. I never thought I'd be that guy. Snooping. Digging through records like some paranoid cliché. But here I was. Hundreds of texts. Dozens of calls. All to a Miami number. Zayden's area code. But it wasn't just the amount. It was the timing. 7:17 a.m., when she was supposedly asleep next to me. 12:43 p.m., on her lunch break. Calls that lasted 58 minutes. 7:22 p.m., during her extra shifts at work. I started printing everything. Google Maps timeline. Phone records. Instagram screenshots. That disgusting caption. I didn't want to. Every page felt like a knife. But I needed proof. Not for her, for me. When Linda came home from work Monday night, you'd think nothing happened. She walked in, smiling like the world hadn't just fallen apart. Hey babe, work was brutal today. If Sharon reschedules one more meeting. She kissed me on the cheek. What should we do for dinner? I was thinking salmon. Ooh, maybe with that garlic rice you make. She walked into the kitchen, started unpacking her bag, rattling off plans for the week like we were still us. And I just stood there, watching this woman I thought I knew. Watching her act like she hadn't just spent 4 days in another man's bed. How do you do that? How do you lie with your whole body? Finally, I couldn't hold it in. My voice came out lower than I expected. Steady. Cold. How was your time with Zayden? She froze. Mid-step. Still holding her keys. What did you say? I asked how your time was with him. In Miami. At his apartment. Her shoulders tensed. She turned around, slowly. I could see it on her face, her mind racing, calculating, trying to figure out what I knew and what she could still cover up. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? I kept my voice calm. Too calm, probably. Because I've got your Google Maps timeline, showing you spent Friday night and most of Saturday at his apartment. She didn't answer. I kept going. I have his Instagram posts, tagged with you, and I've seen our phone records, hundreds of calls, texts, all to him. She just stood there, silent. Her face went blank, like someone had flipped a switch inside her. So you don't have anything to say? Still nothing. Then, finally, she muttered, what do you want me to say? And that's when it happened. Something I never expected. She broke down. Not a few tears, not the controlled crying you see in movies. She unraveled. Her shoulders were shaking, her face scrunched up. She gasped between sobs. The ugly, snotty kind of crying you'd expect from someone who just lost everything. Maybe she had. Or maybe she was just realizing it. She collapsed onto the couch, hands covering her face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry for what, Linda? She looked up through red, glassy eyes. Everything. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. And then she started talking. Really talking. She told me it started 2 months ago. That guy, Zayden, had messaged her after seeing her in Ruby's Instagram stories. Just slid into her DMs. And she answered. That's all it took. They started texting, then calling, then meeting up. All those nights, she said she was working late. She was with him. I didn't interrupt. I just sat there, silent, like I was some priest in a confession booth built out of lies. Then she said something that cut deeper than anything else. The girls' trip? That was his idea. He told her it would be the perfect cover. Said it'd give them real time together, with no questions asked. I just sat there. Numb. That's the only word for it. Numb. But it wasn't over. She told me she was planning to leave me. Not maybe. Not if things didn't get better. She was going to leave. She already had a plan. He's been asking me to move to Miami. He says we should be together. That. I deserved better. The plan was to wait until our lease was up, in 3 months. Then she was going to break the news. Just leave. No conversation. No fight. Just disappear and start over. I felt like I was watching a stranger speak. With my wife's face. She kept apologizing, like that made any of this better. I never meant for you to find out like this. I swear, Tatum, I was going to tell you. Eventually. Then she said, I still love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. We sat there, talking, or maybe unraveling, for hours. She started pulling at old threads, blaming old fights, times I didn't check in with her emotionally, moments I was too distracted with work. We've been drifting for a while, Tatum. You just didn't see it. No, I saw it, I said. But you know what people do when that happens? They talk. They go to therapy. They try. They don't crawl into someone else's bed and start planning a whole new life behind their partner's back. I shook my head. If you were unhappy, Linda, we could have worked on it. We could have fought for this. But you didn't even give our marriage a chance. You chose lies. You chose him. The next few days were a complete blur. I went to work, went home, barely ate, barely slept, just angry. That kind of slow, burning rage. Like a fever under your skin that won't break. Linda stayed at her sister's while we figured out the next steps. Whatever that meant. I didn't even know if I wanted to see her face again, let alone sit across from her and calmly discuss logistics. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer, told them everything, asked what I needed to do to file for divorce. Cold, clinical, just facts, steps, and signatures. But the hardest part? Telling people, our families, our friends. There's no easy way to say. My wife was living a double life. That the person everyone thought was loyal and committed had been sneaking off to Miami for weekends, lying about girls' trips, building another life. My mom cried. My dad went quiet. My sister cursed so hard I thought she was going to drive to Linda's place that night. Then, a few days after it all blew up, Ruby called me. Her voice was shaking when I picked up. Tatum, I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to. I didn't want to be part of this. I stayed quiet. Let her speak. I found out Friday night on the trip. Linda disappeared for hours. Said she had to take a call. But I followed her. She was meeting him. My chest tightened. Again. I confronted her, Ruby said. I told her this wasn't okay. That she needed to tell you. But she begged me not to say anything. Said she needed time to figure out how to handle it. So you kept it from me. I did. And I feel awful. I swear, I didn't think she'd go through with the whole weekend. I thought maybe she'd come to her senses. But she didn't. And I'm disgusted by it now. We all are. Nobody in the group is okay with what she did. I thanked her for being honest. That was all I could do. I didn't have the energy to stay mad at Ruby. Not when everything else in my life was falling apart. Not long after, I started therapy. My lawyer actually recommended someone who specialized in betrayal trauma. I figured if I was going to survive this with any shred of sanity, I had to talk to someone. People think the cheating is the worst part. It's not. It's the lying. The daily eye contact. The forehead kisses. The fake, I love you whispered at night. It's realizing someone can live two completely different lives under the same roof while making you believe everything's fine. I kept going back in my head, looking for signs. And yeah, looking back, they were there. She'd been distant for months, less interested in sex, always glued to her phone. She worked extra shifts more often, and I didn't ask questions because I trusted her. I trusted her with everything. But Sunday night changed all of that. Google Maps timeline saved me from wasting even more time. If I hadn't opened it, hadn't seen that location history, she might have kept it going for months, smiling in my face, planning her exit behind my back. I hate that it ended like this. But I'm grateful I found out when I did, even if it shattered me. 6 years of my life, gone. 3 years of marriage, down the drain. But I'm doing better now. Bit by bit. Rebuilding. I'm focusing on myself. Trying to remember who I was before Linda's lies swallowed me whole. I know it'll be a long time before I even think about dating again. Because the next time I give someone my trust, I need to be sure they're not just wearing a mask. But here's the thing. I didn't just sit quietly and let it happen. I didn't bury it to protect her reputation. If Linda was going to blow up our life, then everyone was going to know why. Remember how she was planning to wait 3 months, then leave? Pretend like we just drifted apart? No, I wasn't going to let her control the story. I posted it on Facebook. Not a dramatic rant, just the facts. Linda and I are getting divorced because she's been having an affair for 2 months and used a girl's trip as cover to spend time with her boyfriend in Miami. I tagged her. I tagged Ruby. I tagged Kathy. I tagged several of our mutual friends. The post blew up. Comments, messages, shocked reactions. My phone didn't stop buzzing for hours. Her family had no idea what was going on. Her coworkers, our friends, everyone found out all at once. And Linda, she was furious. She called me less than 20 minutes after the post went up. Are you serious, Tatum? You posted this on Facebook? You're trying to ruin my life. No, Linda. I just told the truth. You ruined your life. You're being vindictive. You could have kept this private. Handled it like an adult. Like how you handled things like an adult for 2 months. Lying to my face. Sneaking around. She went silent for a moment. You didn't have to humiliate me. You didn't have to betray me. I hung up. And honestly, I don't regret it. After months of being lied to, of being made to feel crazy, I was done protecting her image. She built her life on lies. Now she could deal with what that cost. Turns out, her boyfriend didn't take it too well either. Once the post made the rounds, he found out the truth too. Apparently, she told him she was separated, said she was already divorcing me. Lies. Just more lies, same as the ones she told me. When he learned the truth, that she was still living with me, still sleeping in our bed, still wearing her wedding ring, he ended it. Immediately. Just like that, Linda lost her husband and her boyfriend in the same week. Here's the thing. Linda wasn't some cartoon villain. She's a nurse. She saves lives. People trust her. She seemed loving, caring, genuine. But she was living two lives. And the scariest part? She was good at it. She compartmentalized everything. So perfectly, it still scares me. It makes you ask yourself, how well do we really know the people closest to us? You think love and loyalty are enough. That if you're faithful, they will be too. But love doesn't stop someone from lying. And trust doesn't stop betrayal. As for me, I'm doing okay now. I've got my own place, small, quiet, just enough to feel like mine. I'm spending time with friends again, getting back into hobbies I let slide, finding the pieces of myself I didn't realize I'd lost. And I can finally breathe. No more second-guessing. No more pacing the house at night, wondering if it's all in my head. That weight I'd been carrying for months. It's gone. It'll take time to fully heal. Of course it will. But at least now, I know the truth. And sometimes, as painful as it is, the truth is exactly what you need to move forward. Even when it rips apart everything you thought was real. The divorce moved quickly. 60 days, and it was done. No messy court battles. No fights over property or money. We'd only been married 3 years. And since this is a no-fault divorce state, there was no need to assign blame in the paperwork. We just went our separate ways.